Welcome back to the channel. This is the second episode of Shit You Not. And in this test of Shit You Not, I am testing the fake, I'm pretty sure they're fake, CrossRC Black Rock 1.9 inch crawler tyres. Now, I recently purchased a CrossRC, I think it was a KR4. I did a video of it. I'm not sure if that video was before or after this, but it turned up damaged, and so I've had to send it back. But I really like the tyres that were on it, which are these style this CrossRC 1.9 tyre. They were a little bit smaller in diameter than most other tyres that I've got, and so I've got a rig, which I'll show you a bit later, that I want a slightly smaller set of tyres on. It's the tyres rub on the bull bar, so it's after a smaller set. Now these actually aren't as small as what I thought they would be, and I will measure them up in a moment. Of course, it does depend on what insert you've got as to the exact dimensions, but it's within cooey. Yeah, it does say on there are 115 by 45, which is about right. Theoretically slightly shorter, or maybe the same size as a Canyon Trail, but I was hoping they'd be a little bit smaller. I was kind of hoping for around that 113 mark, even though it says 115 on it, but I couldn't find any tyres that were around that 113, which I think is about 4.5 inches or something like that. So anyway, onto these. So these cost, I bought these off AliExpress. They didn't cost much. I think they were 21 bucks a set. So I thought I would give them a go. I like the tread pattern. I'm going to move that in there. I like the tread pattern. It's realistic. It's not a copy of anything, but it's a realistic looking tread pattern, and I quite like that. So, and that's the rig that it's going on. I might actually I'll grab the rig now, because I keep referring to it and then not saying what it is. It is my Yikong pretty sure it's a 4104. I absolutely love this rig. I'll do a video on it at some stage, but it was cheap as chips. I think it was like 320 bucks Australian. It was on special on eBay. I had 320 Australian, what's that? Probably, I don't know, 210 US, something like that. It had a proper tray on the back, which I've cut off, and I've bobbed the back of it to give it a better departure angle. The tyres that come on it were complete and utter junk, so I've got these cut Canyon Trails on it, and they work really, really well. The problem I've got is that it catches on the bull bar. Can you see that? Maybe not. It catches on there, and yeah, it's not that great. I have trimmed up the bull bar, but I don't want to trim it up too much, because I really like the bull bar. It looks like an ARB style bull bar that you would buy for a proper 1-to-1 four-wheel drive. So like it, I don't want to get rid of it. I reckon it looks really cool. But yeah, the tyres, I was hoping for something a little bit smaller, and I've probably got something not really smaller, although that'll weigh down a little bit. It might not be, but anyway, I do like the size, slightly smaller size tyre, and hoping it'll work. But if it doesn't, that's okay. If it works, if these tyres perform, then I'll use them on another rig. So I can't remember exactly how much I paid. I can't be bothered looking it up, but I think it was like $21 Australian. So that is $14 US, and that is for a set of 4. They come with these foams. I keep forgetting, quite often when I do the tyre reviews, I keep forgetting about the foams they come with, because I generally take them out. I don't throw them away, but I take them out because I don't like them. These are quite hard foams. So remember what I did here. So this tyre here, and this is probably not a great test, but this is the actual foam that comes with it, and it's very, very firm. There's a little bit of softness around it right on the edge of the shoulder, but apart from that, very firm. And then what have I got here? This one, I've put the blue Endura insert in, and it actually feels pretty good. Yeah, it might be a little bit stiff, maybe. This width-wise, it fills it out really well, but it might be still slightly. It might be slightly stiff, although it's not far off. It does feel pretty good. And then lastly, I've put the green insert in this one, and once again, like pretty much every other tyre I've put it in, this green insert, it doesn't work great. It's just too soft with no. I know people go on about these. I know they don't go on about them, but they talk about, you know, use these. But if you've got a really lightweight rig, they're probably great. But I don't really have lightweight rigs, so I'm yet to find a tyre that they go in nicely. Now, I may well put my tuning rods in these, because I did have them in and I took them out because I tried these tyres in those Hellhound things over there. And so I took all the tuning rods out, but I may well put them back in and see how that goes, because I just don't feel that the blue one is giving me quite enough softness, and I'm a little bit hesitant. Although I've got a few sets of these now, I'm a little bit hesitant to trim them up. So I'm going to have a bit more of a play around at this stage. I think I'm either going to run the blue inserts and cut them, or I'm going to do that first. I'm going to put some tuning rods in one of these and put it in this tyre over here, which I haven't put in a foam yet, and just see how that goes. So I might, I'm not going to bore you with video on that, but I might give that a crack now, and I'll come back to you. I need to do the scrunch test. It's very, very important, apparently. They're kind of sticky. The rubber feels good. It doesn't feel like hard rubber. The sidewalls, they're certainly not thin. I wouldn't say they're thick. They're on the thicker side. And the carcass, yeah, again, it's certainly not thin. It's not ultra thick. It's probably not a great explanation, but I'd probably say they're medium, if that's a thing, on the sidewall and on under the tread pattern. But the rubber feels good. It feels like a nice, I don't know, it just feels like the right softness. As to whether or not it works is another thing, but I'm going to take a short break, and I'm going to put some tuning rods in one of these green ones, because I really want to get this right. And the stock foams they're just no good. That's not happening. Right, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to come back in just one moment with some different inserts, and I'll let you know how they feel. Right, it did just dawn on me as I was putting the tuning rods in that you may not know what these tuning rods are. They are foam Nerf gun style darts. I've done a video on them. If you want to know more, go and have a look. But they're basically just the foam darts in there. Now I'm going to just try this. I actually meant to only put them in every second large hole, and then I kind of forgot what I was doing, and I put them in every one. So I'm going to just quickly stick a ring in there. And see how they feel. They might be slightly stiff now. It'll be interesting to see. Alright, I'll put that on. They feel a little bit, they actually feel like what I was after. They feel like they're a little bit softer than the blues, but clearly not as soft as the greens, as you might expect. do a few screws up to see how we go. Sorry for the riveting video. Where am I? Yeah. Right. Now, what have we got? Green, blue, and I actually like that. I think, yeah, I think that feels really good. Yeah, I'm going to go with those. That feels good. It's got a little bit of sidewall support. Yeah, they're much softer in the sidewall than the blues. And it's kind of a bit subjective, but I kind of feel like I do have a pretty good idea now because I've run so many tyres and I sort of know what my rigs will do. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. Right, I am going to test these. I'm going to put the tuning rods back in the green inserts, and that's what I'm going to run. That feels great. So I'm going to do that. Actually, I'm going to measure. I'm going to measure these now. I'm going to measure these with the tuning rods that I'm going to use, or the inserts. Now, what does that say on there? 115 by 45. Let's have a look-see. And we have, we have 119. That wasn't really what I was expecting. That's 119. And width-wise, it says they're 45s. And we've got, by my calculation, sorry, I know that's not riveting TV or video, I don't have that round. It's about 44. So a little bit taller than what I had in mind. Yeah. Yeah, they're not shorter at all. They're about the same size as their precipice tyre, about the same height. So not exactly what I was after, but still, that's all right. I like the tread pattern that much. If these work well, I could see myself buying more than these for 21 bucks. Now, this is an episode of Shit You Not, and if you haven't watched an episode of Shit You Not, because this is only the second episode, if any product I test, I'm going to do a Shit You Not test, and I will shit you not. So if they are a shit product, I'm going to say they're a shit product, because I do get a little bit sick of people doing reviews on YouTube and getting very excited, and especially if things get given to people, then they just sort of fluff about it and say they're great, and they're just not. So that's my shit you not spiel. I normally, I would say when I test tyres, I don't have great hopes, but I actually have, I wouldn't say great hopes, I have good hopes. I think it feels right. Mind you, the precipice felt right too, and that's not a great tyre. And it felt really good. So yeah, we'll see. I'm going to put this on the Yikong and go out and do a bit of testing and do a bit of filming, and then come back and let you know how they went. Actually, I'm going to test these. I'm going to put these up against another tyre to give some context. I did that with the last couple of tyre tests I've done. So I'll pick a tyre, maybe will just be the standard Canyon Trail, maybe, which I consider to be a very good tyre, and put these head to head, just to give some context, because I can run these on the crawler, down the crawler yard, but in reality, if I'm just running them on their own, I mean, who knows? Like there's so much difference, you know, when you're running in the crawler yard, you know, temperature, sun, you know, how warm the obstacles are. I find that makes a fair bit of difference on how tyres react. So yeah, to give that context, I'll run them against another set of tyres, and it may well be the Canyon Trails, but it might not. So in a moment, you'll find out. well, I will have decided by then. You'll find out which tyres I'm going to run them against, and we'll give them a crack. So my prediction is these are actually going to be pretty good. We'll see if that's true. We'll go to the crawler yard now. Rightio, I've just come back from down at the crawler yard where I've put the fake CrossRC Black Rock Tyres up against the stock Canyon Trails. Now, clearly, the stock Canyon Trail tyres outperformed the fake CrossRC Black Rocks, which is probably not a surprise, and there's going to be quite a few people disagree with me, but I think the Canyon Trail tyre is a very good tyre. I think it's underrated. I think a lot of people buy a TRX4 and the first thing they do is replace the tyres, and quite often they replace it with something that's not as good. These are really good tyres. In my mind, these are like the, what do you call it, like the, what's the word? Like the base, if you like. Like if a tyre is better than these, then I think they're pretty good. If they're not as good as these, then they're probably not great, although they could be okay. Now, as it turns out, I think these are okay. I don't think they're great. I'd stop short of saying they're good. They're okay. Now, one difference from when you watched the intro to the video was that I said that I would use these Endura silicone inserts with the tuning rods. I didn't actually do that. Well, actually I did. So what happened was I don't like testing tyres from brand new. I like to give them a bit of a run first, just to see. I'm not sure testing a brand new tyre is actually overly realistic. I would like to get a few runs in them. And I found that they didn't perform great with these tyres here. These inserts here. I thought the inserts were a little bit soft and I didn't think the tyre would perform that great. It did some things okay and some things not well at all. So I thought, no. And then I decided that potentially the shoulder lugs are quite thick, and I wondered if they were folding over too easy and causing them not to grip very well. So I then tried the pink Formondi inserts, which are quite firm if I don't cut the outer ribs there. And these tyres performed really badly. Absolute junk. They were terrible. So then I went back to thinking that I needed to go to soft again and maybe softer. So I tried these and they were too soft and didn't perform that great. So what I ended up coming up with was these. In fact, this isn't it, but it's very close. It's the Endura dual stage foam insert with the inner sort of rubber ring. And this isn't the one, this is a harder foam, but the one I've got in there is their soft foam, and it's designed for a smaller diameter tyre. So what we get is this incredibly soft outer. There's a little bit of, I don't know if you can see, but where the inner ring is around here, that red inner ring around there, but then above that there's not much else. They are really soft. Now I found this was, out of all the inserts I used, this was the insert that made it perform best, and it had some really good traction. The downside, and you would have seen in the video, is that there was no side heel stability there at all. Even though we've got this firm inner ring, it's just the foam's too soft and it's really too short to make it perform very well. But as I said, it's all the inserts. I mean, I could keep going. I've got other inserts, but I mean, at some stage you've got to pull the pin, and I think I've got these performing as well as they possibly can, which is not great. So what's the verdict? The verdict is they're an okay tyre. They're not good, they're okay. Out of 10, I would probably give these a 5.5. These are definitely not the worst fake or Chinese tyres that I've tried. They're definitely not the worst. In fact, they're actually one of the best, which isn't saying a whole lot. Now, if any of you have watched the Crawler Tyre Showdown, you will have seen the fake J Concepts Tusk perform very well. They are head and shoulders the best fake or Chinese tyre that I've tried. I've tried some that are absolute shockers, and I've tried one that's good, which is the fake Tusk. This is okay. I wouldn't buy it again. I would recommend these to anyone who maybe is not really so much into crawling, more trailing, because it is quite a scale looking tyre. Now, I'm not saying it's a copy of a, you know, 1-to-1 size tyre. What I'm saying is it's a realistic looking pattern, and I could see that type of tyre being on a, you know, real four-wheel drive. So from that point of view, if you've got a, you know, a fairly scale looking rig, I think they would look quite good on it. And for trailing, they'd go pretty well. In fact, I think they'd go very well for a trailing tyre, but just not, even when it comes to crawling, not great. And as I said, the only way I can get these to perform is incredibly soft inserts, foam, which then gives me no side heel stability whatsoever. So the big question, because this is a shit you not episode, are they shit or are they not? I'm somewhere in between. I'm leaning on the side of shit, but they're not complete shit. And just so I've done something to my elbow, something really bad. I woke up yesterday morning and my elbow is tender, like I've hit it really hard. I haven't done anything, but I'm really struggling. This is a shit tyre. This is a shit tyre you should never ever buy. No one should buy that ever. It's shit. Oh, elbow back. This, I could see why people would buy this. I wouldn't buy them again. I'm not sure I'm going to keep them. I'm probably going to try and flog them off cheap, like I do with most of the disappointing tyres I buy. To answer the question, is it shit or not? It's shit. It's not the shittest, but it's shit. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, got something out of it. If you have tried these tyres and you think these are the best tyres ever, I'd love to hear it. I'd actually love to hear what the original, you know, the real CrossRC Black Rock Tyre is like, because I'd never even seen or heard of these tyres until I bought a CrossRC, I think it was an FR4, which I've done a video on that. I had to return it because it was broken, and I really liked the look of the tyres. They were definitely smaller than these tyres, and that's why I first saw them, first looked into them. Then I found that AliExpress had them. So yeah, so if you've got the original CrossRC tyres, I would love to know if they are any good, because these are not great. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, all that sort of stuff. Let me know your thoughts, and see you in the next video.